Hello everyone, my name is Rebecca Norton, and for today in my social studies methods class, I'm going to be discussing the article Developing Active Citizens, Community Service Learning, and Social Studies Teacher Education. So what I got from this article was basically what the article was about was a study of prospective teachers. So they are in an actual social studies methods class, which is funny because so am I. But in this class, they did an inquiry-based project within a practicum, and so the students that are the prospective teacher candidates were assigned to a classroom, and in that classroom they gave the students an opportunity to pick one service opportunity to do as a whole class. So some of the things that the students had picked were going to a nursing home and reading to the older elderly people. They picked like picking up trash around the playground. They picked going to a dog shelter and volunteering. Things, just basic community service things that students chose. And the part that makes it inquiry is that the students got to choose what they wanted to do. There's 3 ways that the students were affected by this project. Personally was the first one. 29 students learned something new about themselves by doing the service opportunity. And the way that the instructor of the methods class like measured this was they read journals, they did interviews of the students, just stuff like that. So in one of the students, or in 2/3 of the students' journals, they stated that they didn't realize how much of an impact a short amount of time can do. So like they didn't realize that just picking up trash can make such a huge impact on their school community. And then 1/3 of the students had kind of like a negative reaction to the service. They just felt like they didn't spend enough time to make an impact, which later on in the article it discusses like teachers need to be prepared for these students, like how to discuss like with the students that even though you did something small, in the end it impacts all students. The other thing that was really effective and affected the students was the pedagogy aspect of it. Going into the project, the college students felt that they weren't going to be able to keep their students engaged. And it kind of turned out to be the opposite because the students were more engaged. They really loved it. They just wanted to do more. And then their attitude towards community service changed. After the project was over, they rated being an active citizen and participating in the community as highly important. So that's kind of where the social studies aspect comes into it. There's 5 things learned by doing this study. Students will benefit more from direct activities than indirect. Students wanted to do it again, so these activities and service learning opportunities are awesome to do in your classroom. Students were able to realize that the good and bad of the project, so unfortunately they didn't get to spend enough time, but this time they did spend that created a bigger impact. Teachers should be able to discuss those negative feelings, and like I mentioned earlier, these projects will take more time and effort on the teacher part, but in the long run will be more effective for the students. So, how I'm going to relate this to my classroom, I really want to do inquiry-based and project-based learning with my students, and I really wasn't sure how to do that with social studies, but like just doing a community service project, I felt like is something that needs to be done at least twice a year in your classroom to be effective for students and to show them how being a citizen is important. So what I would plan to do in my classroom was I would pick 3 opportunities that were already pre-approved by my principal or the superintendent, and then I would give those options. Since I am early childhood, they would be easier task for the children, like plant a tree or pick up the playground, just simple things but that make a huge impact. And then we would do the activity and discuss in these journals like the students did in the classroom about why it's important to do these things, why it's important to be an active citizen. And they would be writing in these reflective journals, And then at the end of the project based, we would go back and look at how we felt before. So I would have students write before we even talked about it. I would have them write, like, do they think that community service is a chore? Do they think community service is helpful? Just stuff like that. And I think it'll really impact the students. But I also believe that by doing the community service, it'll teach them more than just sitting in there and lecturing to them about citizenship is important. Like, we need to talk to the students and tell them that we don't need to talk to them. We need to show the students through their own experiences that being a participant in a community is important. So I thought this article really taught me a lot, and I plan to implement project-based projects into my everyday classrooms. And like I said, at least twice a year we need to do some type of community service, I believe. And that way I can show these students the importance of citizenship, not just telling them about it. Thank you.